I, 28M, met Emily, 26F, at a friend's party 2 years ago. She was magnetic, the kind of person who walked into a room and immediately became the center of attention. Not in a loud or arrogant way, but just effortlessly charming. We hit it off that night over drinks, music, and a shared love for true crime documentaries. Within a month, we were officially dating. In the beginning, everything felt like a dream. She was funny, adventurous, spontaneous, and beautiful. We'd have late-night drives, deep conversations under the stars, and impulsive weekend getaways. I remember thinking, I've hit the jackpot. She made me feel alive in a way no one else ever had. But slowly, things started to shift, almost so subtly that I didn't notice at first. The first red flag was how she dealt with emotional conversations. Whenever I tried to open up, even lightly, about something bothering me, she'd either change the subject or say something like, "Can we not do this right now?" I brushed it off, assuming I was just catching her at the wrong times. One night, a few months into our relationship, I told her about how anxious I'd been feeling at work. I was struggling with a toxic manager and wasn't sleeping well. She looked up from her phone and sighed. "Babe, you really know how to kill the vibe." We were having such a good evening. I remember freezing. I wasn't expecting a therapy session or anything, just maybe "that sucks, I'm here for you." But instead, I felt like I was being a burden. Like my emotions were some kind of party foul. Still, I apologized. I apologized for talking about my own mental health. Let that sink in. It kept happening. Anytime I brought up feelings, whether it was something as simple as, "Hey, I felt a little left out when you went to that party without telling me," or even deeper things from my past, she'd get distant. Sometimes she'd straight up say, "Why are you being so sensitive?" Or worse, accuse me of trying to guilt trip her. I started bottling everything up. I didn't want to be that guy who's too emotional or needy. She'd occasionally praise how chill and laid back I was, and I clung to that. I convinced myself that maybe I was just being dramatic, that relationships are about compromise, and this was just mine. But here's the thing. You can only push your feelings down for so long before they explode. Or, in my case, before they hollow you out. About a year into the relationship, we had a dinner date at this fancy rooftop place she'd been dying to try. Everything was perfect. Candlelight, soft music, the whole romantic setup. I was feeling especially drained that week, emotionally exhausted, and I tried, just once more, to open up. I said something like, "Hey, I've been feeling a little off lately. I don't really know how to describe it, but..." She cut me off mid-sentence. "Can we just enjoy tonight, please? You always ruin the mood with this stuff." I stared at her, heart pounding. She wasn't angry or yelling. She said it so casually, like I'd asked to split the check early. Like my pain was some trivial inconvenience. I didn't say anything. I nodded, forced a smile, ate my overpriced pasta in silence. But something shifted in me that night. I realized I was in a relationship where my feelings were inconvenient, where my emotional needs were too much, where I was expected to always be strong, happy, easygoing, and anything less than that was a liability. I went home that night, laid in bed next to her as she slept, and stared at the ceiling for hours. I was starting to see the cracks. I just didn't know what to do with them yet. After that rooftop dinner, something in me snapped, quietly, but permanently. I didn't say anything to Emily. I didn't cause a scene. I just started paying more attention. I stopped trying to rationalize her behavior and started observing it. And once you stop making excuses for someone, you start to see things very differently. It wasn't just the emotional shutdowns anymore. I noticed how our entire relationship revolved around her job, her friends, her family drama, her weekend plans. I was there to listen, support, show up, and smile. But when I had something to share, she'd have a headache or say, "Let's talk about it later," which, of course, never came. One day, I got some pretty big news. I was offered a promotion at work. It was something I'd been quietly grinding for over a year. It wasn't flashy, but it meant more money, more responsibility, and recognition for everything I'd been doing. I called her, excited, wanting to celebrate. Her response? "Oh, congrats. Hey, can I call you back? I'm helping Rachel pick out an outfit." She never did call back. That night, we met up at her place. I brought it up, trying to be calm. "Hey, it kinda sucked how you brushed off the promotion thing. I know it's not huge, but it mattered to me." She looked at me, almost annoyed. "You're still on about that? God, you get so emotional over the smallest things." It was like getting punched in the gut. And this wasn't a one-off. That was just her way, minimizing everything I felt, turning the tables, so I ended up doubting myself. Classic emotional invalidation. But back then, I didn't have the language for it. I just thought I was being too much. Again, I started pulling away, mentally first. I stopped sharing things. I stopped trying to connect emotionally. I'd nod and smile when she talked, but it felt like I was playing a role, one I hadn't signed up for. Then came the physical distance. I stopped initiating plans. Let her make all the moves. Some weeks, she barely noticed. The final straw came one random Tuesday night. I'd had a rough day, back-to-back meetings. My mom had called to tell me our family dog was being put down, and I just felt wrecked. I texted Emily. Hey, not feeling great. Can we just hang out tonight? No plans, just chill. She replied an hour later. Ugh, I had such a long day too. Don't dump your drama on me, please. I didn't respond. I stared at that text for a long time. My chest got tight. Not angry, just sad. Exhausted. I realized I wasn't in a partnership. I was in a performance. And that night, I decided I was done. Not in a rage. Not with fireworks. Just done. The next morning, I started pulling myself out of her world. Slowly. Quietly. I stopped texting. Stopped calling. When she finally messaged 3 days later with "You good?" I replied, yeah, just taking space. She didn't ask why. She didn't follow up. She didn't even call. She let me fade. And that told me everything I needed to know. After I sent that "just taking space" text, Emily didn't follow up. Not that day. Not the next. Not even the week after. At first, I thought she was giving me space because she respected my boundaries. Then I realized, no, she didn't even ask why I needed space. She didn't care enough to check in. It wasn't compassion, it was indifference. And that hit harder than I expected. I waited a while. Maybe a part of me hoped she'd call or show up at my door. Maybe I wanted her to say, hey, I didn't realize I was hurting you. I want to talk. But she never did. So I stopped waiting. I started deleting things from my life, not out of spite, but survival. Her photos on my phone, gone. Her number, deleted. Her toothbrush at my apartment, tossed. I cleared the space like someone pulling weeds from a neglected garden. I didn't give her a dramatic goodbye. No long breakup speech. No. I hope you learn to treat the next guy better. Nothing. Because honestly, I was tired of using my energy to explain my pain to someone who treated it like a joke. The truth is, disappearing wasn't easy. I still loved her, in a twisted way. I loved the idea of her. The potential, the glimpses of affection, the good moments that made me question if the bad ones were just in my head. But love without safety isn't love. It's dependency. It's trauma bonding. And once I saw that clearly, it was like a fog lifted. Weeks went by, then a month. Then came the message. It was short, like she'd tossed it off while waiting for coffee. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Everything okay? I stared at it for a long time. I thought about replying. I typed something out, deleted it, typed again, deleted again. In the end, I didn't answer. Because what would I even say? Everything you said made me feel like I wasn't allowed to be human. I was never looking for a therapist, just someone who gave a damn. You made me feel like I had to earn basic compassion. None of it would matter. People like her, the ones who flinch at vulnerability, they don't change because you write them an essay. They change, maybe, when they hit a wall, and even then, only if they want to. So I chose silence. Not as punishment, but as peace. I started focusing on myself, therapy, journaling, actual conversations with people who did care. I reconnected with friends I'd drifted from. I joined a local hiking group. I started sleeping better, smiling more. And slowly, I remembered who I was before I shrunk myself to fit someone else's comfort zone. Some nights, I still think about her, not with anger, but with clarity. I wonder if she ever figured it out. If she tells her friends I ghosted her out of nowhere. Maybe she frames it as me being too emotional, too sensitive, too dramatic. Let her. I'm not interested in defending myself anymore. I know my truth. I tried to be honest. I tried to show up. I tried to speak. And when I was told that my feelings ruined the mood, I didn't scream or beg. I left. Because sometimes, the most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.